It's easy to criticize a decision when not involved in the decision-making process. In hindsight, without understanding the limiting factors, it is easy to think those making decisions are incompetent or just don't understand.
Organizations operate by people making decisions every day. Decisions are made at all levels of the organization without it being recognized as a decision. Every day, a manager is called upon to organize staff and work plans, control workflow, solve problems and lead the team. This is all done through decision-making.
Decision-making is essentially an evaluation of a situation, consideration of possible solutions, making choices, and implementing them. The effectiveness and quality of those decisions determine how successful a manager or department will be now and into the future.
While most decisions are straightforward and easily digested, there are some decisions that send ripples through an organization.
Let's look at the decision-making process. Define the problem. Identify limiting factors. Develop potential solutions. Analyze the options. Select the best solution based on the information available. Implement the decision. Monitor and evaluate. It's a complex process that we all complete each day, often in seconds.
The decision-making process begins when a problem is identified. It is important to get to the root problem and not simply look at the symptoms that are causing havoc. The majority of problems identified are really a symptom of the real problem. For each problem identified, ask yourself, why is this happening? Be aware that symptoms may have more than one root cause.
For example, if the problem reported is that staff have a difficult time completing their daily work reports, what could be the root cause? Electronic work reports are ineffective. Staff need training to understand the system. System login credentials change every week. Staff dislike the change. These 4 examples could produce the same symptoms but are very different problems. A successful manager doesn't just resolve symptoms, they seek out the root cause to truly resolve the problems.
Once the problem is accurately defined, the decision-making process can be started to resolve the specific problem identified. It is best to tackle one problem at a time and not attempt to resolve multiple related problems with the same solution. Everybody wants to make the best possible decisions. In an ideal setting, those making decisions would have all the time, information and supplies readily available to them. But that is not reality.
Realistically, we all operate in an environment that rarely provides all the information necessary for making an easy decision. In some cases, a decision must be tempered based on the information and resources available. While the best possible decision may be available but out of reach financially, the secondary option is affordable and is therefore the best decision that can be managed at the time. A manager often has to make a decision based on the information, time and resources available. These decisions are not always popular, but they are necessary.
Time is frequently the most difficult part of decision-making. A decision really needs to be made, but all the information may not be available. A quick decision may not result in a permanent solution. For example, water is pouring into a part of the building and you don't know where it's coming from. Who do you call? Most people faced with this decision might call a plumber. But maybe the water is entering through the roof. So, do you call the roofer? You make the best decision you can, based on the information you have available. The first decision may be wrong as might the second. But each decision and outcome will bring you more information.
So, the plumber comes, and nope, not a broken pipe. The plumber indicates the water is coming in from the west side of the building and overhead. He thinks it's likely related to the roof. The roofer comes next, but says they cannot find any issues with the roof. The roofer says the HVAC unit has a pool of water by it. So you call the HVAC people. And yes, It turned out the air conditioning condenser was plugged and water backed up into the system and then through the building. Each decision along the way contributed to resolving the problem.
Now, had the person making the decision had access to other experienced staff, they could have brainstormed solutions. Brainstorming is where a group of people work together to generate ideas and potential solutions. Brainstorming stimulates thinking as people feed off the ideas generated by others. All ideas are welcomed, even outrageous ideas. Each idea can lead to more creative potential solutions. However, brainstorming requires a minimum of 30 minutes and may not be an option if an immediate decision is required.
To host a successful brainstorming session, focus on the problem at hand. The chair of the discussion will need to keep the group on track. Entertain all ideas with an open mind. Encourage the group to, essentially, think out loud. Sharing the thought process can help spark ideas from others. Don't evaluate the ideas on the spot, simply list all the ideas until the group is done. Once all the ideas are listed, the team can discuss each idea to determine feasibility, including cost, timelines, and anticipated outcomes.
Group decision making has clear advantages and disadvantages when compared to individual decision making. The pros are, groups provide a broader perspective and provide for robust discussion to help answer questions and reduce uncertainties. The cons are, group decision making is often not timely. A group decision is often a compromise and not necessarily the best possible decision given the available resources. Groups can also be guilty of groupthink, which is the tendency of the group to conform to the strongest opinion or higher ranking person, rather than make an unbiased decision.
How to decide which solution is best? Determining the merits of each idea can be done a number of ways, including: determine the pros and cons for each solution. Perform a cost-benefit analysis for each solution. Weigh the difficulty to implement each solution to determine its chance of success. Consider the consequences of the solution. What are the impacts to the organization or individual with this change? Look at overall feasibility and effectiveness for each possible solution. After all the potential solutions have been analyzed, the best solution is the one with the best feasibility of successful implementation, given the financial or other constraints. While it may not be the best possible solution to the stated problem, a solution that is feasible has a better chance of success.
Even when the best of intention and strong analysis, a decision may not be effective or popular. Sometimes, the best solution may not be obvious until after another decision was made or implemented. This happens. This is normal. When it becomes apparent that another solution or decision is a better choice, make the change. Making a change from one decision to another is not failure, it is simply good business practice. Don't hold on to decisions that are not working. After all, the whole purpose of the decision was to fix a problem. So fix the problem with a new decision.
Consider the normal and ongoing changes, decisions and solutions such as changing software programs, updating or changing procedures, rules or policies, or implementing a new phone system. Does this mean the original software, policy or phone system was a bad decision? It simply means that new decisions were needed to resolve new problems that are different than before.
Evaluating progress after a decision is an important factor to consider. Some decisions require regular changes or new decisions based on the evaluation process, while others may be years, sometimes even decades, before the original decision no longer fits the need. Making adjustments to a solution or scrapping it altogether and starting over, is simply a part of being a manager. It's an ongoing cycle of continuous improvement.
Let's look at the evaluation process if a recent decision was not effective or has not resolved the problem. Was the problem identified correctly? Was the solution based on a symptom and not the root cause? Was this simply not the best solution? Go back and review other possible solutions. Was the solution correct but the implementation was faulty? Has there been sufficient time for the implementation to take effect? Some solutions take months before they are fully implemented by all stakeholders. Is change management a factor?
Finally, let's talk about personal agendas. The decision-making process, in itself, is challenging, and the challenges only increase when there are multiple people involved in the process, all with their own ideas or possibly a personal agenda. Don't think you have a personal agenda? Most everyone has a personal agenda, whether they realize it or not. Will the decision make my life easier? Make things easier for my department? Provide me more authority? Provide a benefit for staff, including me? Consider if any of these answers were considered in making the decision. If the answer is yes, then the decision may have been partially related to a personal agenda.
Decisions made related to risk management, compliance with the law or legislation, or decisions that are good for the company but make your job or department more difficult, are rarely a result of a personal agenda. Unpopular decisions often have a background related to risk management, and few like them, but they are usually based on sound decision-making and not popular decision-making. Popular decision-making is another whole subject. But we won't touch on that in this video.
While decision-making sounds easy, consider your answers to the following questions. If you were part of a group decision-making process and the decision decided by the majority was not the one you wanted, what is your response likely to be? What is your managerial response expected to be? If the decision made is fundamentally correct but extremely unpopular with the staff, what are your options? Why consider changing your decision? As a manager, when decisions go against everything you believe to be true, what options might you consider? Have you considered what other impacts decisions, yours or someone else's, have on teams, departments or individuals?
Decision-making is a process that is not always easy, but it is an essential skill for every manager to understand. Not all decisions are the best possible solution, and that's okay. The only wrong decision is the decision not to make a decision. Once a decision is made, evaluate it for effectiveness. If the decision is not effective, take a look at other solutions. Remember, the intent of the decision is to resolve a problem. If the decision didn't resolve the problem, try again. You don't expect perfection from others, so why would others expect perfection from you?
Please support this channel by subscribing below, liking the video, and leaving a comment. Don't hesitate to share the video. Thanks for watching.